Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back. Happy Friday. Major updates as promised from last week. Let's cover some big important news since President Trump took office. Before we get into the video, please punch that like button and subscribe to the channel for all developing updates. All right, so when President Trump took office, there was a lot of speculation whether he would sign an executive order on day one. That didn't come, triggered a small sell-off. We'll get to the charts here in a little bit. Right, and now it's been a lot of speculation back and forth. What is the executive order going to look like? A lot of Bitcoin enthusiasts were hoping that it would be a Bitcoin reserve, specifically Bitcoin. That's changed. So let's get into it. Let's talk about it. Towards the end of the video, I'll give my price predictions. And yeah, let's get into it. So the hype leading up to the election, to Trump taking office, right? You've seen XRP price surge a bit. All right, so going into it, I think we hit a top of around the 331 mark right here on January 17th. Right, this is the hype going into the run-up going into him taking office. Everybody expecting a day one, right? And if you're an experienced trader, you know sometimes, as the saying goes, buy the rumor, sell the news. That's what you've seen a little bit here. However, there's much more fantastic news to come. So you've seen a lot of big whales getting in here, a lot of folks buying up what stock is available, what XRP is available. And then, president takes office, doesn't sign it day one. You get a little drop off here, signs the executive order this week and it's still staying stagnant. What's keeping it down? I think it's a lot of folks taking profits. They were in at 50 cents several months ago, rebalancing the portfolios. One, and just waiting for clarity from the SEC whether the case against Ripple, the parent company of XRP, is going to be dropped. So we'll get back to the charts in a second. So price fluctuations throughout the week. If you're a long-term investor here, and that's the mentality you're going to have, if you're every day logging into your trading platform and selling when you're up 2, 3, 4, 5%, and then trying to buy back on the dips, it's very dangerous at this point for this reason. You don't know when this news is going to happen. This news can come out at 11 o'clock on a Saturday. On a Friday, you could be sleeping. You likely don't have a trading bot that's trading for you. So what I'm doing right now, again, this is not financial advice. This is for educational purposes. How I'm playing this is a wait and see. The money that I have invested in XRP is money that I'm willing to, if it gets cut in half, if it goes down 75%, I have some cash in reserves, and depending on the situation, likely buy more because I do firmly believe in the long-term outlook on XRP. All right, so the big news of the week, we'll get to that right off the bat. So President-elect Trump signed an executive order that establishes basically a crypto working group, a cryptocurrencies working group, or a task force. Right, this is to develop the regulations that this sector has been crying and screaming and kicking for the past 8 plus years, right? The folks in this industry, they want to play by the rules. They just don't know the rules. Over the past 4 years, the previous administration was anti-crypto, right, with Gary Gensler and that whole staff. And now with President Trump, obviously one of the top priorities, had a lot of cryptocurrency backing leading up into the election. And now we're going to get some guidance. We're going to get some regulations. We're going to get some laws that will firmly establish, and the hope is of this new administration, that the United States becomes the crypto capital of the world. The technology is there. It's the future. Not talking about price action or anything like that, but these overall, right, the overall thesis is banks need to move from the SWIFT payment system and upgrade that system to the cryptocurrency or crypto blockchain ledgers. The speed is there. The volume is obviously it's able to handle. Right, when Trump launched his Trump meme coin, it was launched on the Solana network. That network ran into some issues handling that. So think of these as some proof of concept testing right off the bat. I wish they would have launched that on the XRP network, and that would have been a great press for XRP. However, I believe with the SEC appeal still going on, that probably wasn't the right call. So let's talk about some other market dynamics here. All right, so this crypto task force should outline the regulations and the laws that we need so these companies can play by the rules, which they have no reason not to, and set some establishments. I've seen a lot of rug pulls, right? As if you're in this space, you understand, you see that if you buy a hype coin and it goes up 500,000% in 24 hours, the odds are there's going to be sellers. And I've seen some of these sell off 50, 75%, right? What I'm looking forward to regulations is if somebody's launching one of these coins, there needs to be a lockup period. The original stakeholders cannot sell any tokens or coins for a certain amount of days. And that's how generally the accepted practice in the stock market world when a company IPOs or initial public offering. So I'd like to see some guidance, some clarity on what's going to happen. And that's how this is shaping up. All right. The executives of Ripple have called for the SEC to drop or settle the appeal by the SEC. So the next roadblock that's going to move the price action on XRP is this SEC appeal. Everybody's been coming after Ripple for the past 4+ years, and now we need some clarity. I believe the new administration is going to be crypto friendly. If there's no basis for this appeal, they likely will drop. They likely will settle the case, and that's going to be the confirmation that everyone's waiting for. That's the next real thing. So right now it's all the rumors. You're starting to see the outline, the framework. Folks want to see action. They want to see the case being dropped. They want to see Japan, how the XRP ledger is working out in Japan, and they want to see adoption. I've read the reports, seen the rumors of Bank of America ready to fully adopt XRP. Another inflection point is going to be when the stablecoin ETFs go live, right? So you have to remember this. Ripple is a US-based company. America's vision for the future is that America will be the crypto capital of the world. Ripple is positioned perfectly for the setup over the next 100 days. I'll give it 100 days because a lot of this stuff is going to take time to work itself out. You're going to need lawyers. You're going to need probably congressional hearings. And so in the next 100 days, it's going to be extremely important. I'll continue to provide these updates. Hang in there if you're worried about the volatility. If you're trying to trade day in and day out, you're probably going to drive yourself a bit crazy. I believe you're well positioned here at this $3 level, even up to $3.50. My predictions for the next leg up, if the SEC case gets dropped or settled, you're looking at the next leg up to either $4 or $5. If you see more guidance and regulations or approval of a Bitcoin Bitcoin's included, but a stablecoin ETF, you're going to see billions of dollars flow into this space. Both of those things right there, without ever a bank even adopting this to actually use as a payment transaction system, you're looking at $6. If you get the adoption by major banks, Bank of America, if Jamie Dimon comes out from JP Morgan and speaks well on the technology, not necessarily the price of XRP, but the technology that Ripple has, you're looking at a shot right up to $10. And remember, along the way here, you're going to see heavy volatility. If you were watching Bitcoin in the early days, 25-50% sell-offs in a year. So if you're in it for the long term, if you truly believe in the technology, I believe right now is a great time to at least diversify in and wait and see. There's so much momentum riding on the back of Ripple and XRP right now that you may be kicking yourself in a few years if this all goes the way that I envision it to go. And you could even be looking at a high price target of $33 a token. There are some risk factors. There's always risk factors, right? Everything that I just mentioned can go the opposite way. The SEC continues with their case. They appeal, see how that rolls out, or Bitcoin ETFs aren't approved for another 6 months to a year, and then the market sells off, causing folks to delever, sell some of their crypto portfolio. So there are risks. The Ripple CEO can come out and say something crazy. So just know that there's risks. It is a high risk, high reward situation, right? I'm going to post another video after this with a reaction to a Michael Saylor video on all the claims that he makes why Bitcoin is the best, so on and so forth. And I'm gonna provide a rebuttal and give some counterpoints to his argument. So after this video, watch that video. But overall, in closing, XRP right now, back to the charts. We're exactly where we need to be. Look at the 1 month, right? You see some consolidation here, completely normal, right? This is what I mean if you're trying to day trade this thing, like up, down, all around. This thing is trading 24/7. You could go to sleep, down 2%, wake up 7%. And if you miss these swings, you're going to be kicking yourself. So if you want to add more to your position, my strategy would be you see a red day, you DCA in. If you see a red day, down 5-10%, yeah, that's when you want to DCA in a little bit. If you want to start drawing your lines on the charts, right, your low point right here. If you're super nervous about the volatility, you could trigger, limit buys right here under 254. So what that'll do is it'll trigger a buy order under this price. If you have a ton of money in here, and you want to, watch it, maybe tighter stop losses. But if you're in it for the long term, even if we go back to 250, I don't think there's anything to worry about personally. If we go back to 250, I'm going to be adding more. If we go even lower than that, right? So there's zones where you DCA, and then there's zones where you load the boat. So let's take a zoom back out to the 1 year, right? So definitely, if you're thinking about DCAing, you want to add a bit more to your position, right? If you fill this gap and go down to 252, this is we're going to start DCAing in all the way down to 202. You load the boat. If we go back to 137, you go back to 137 if the SEC continues its case against Ripple. If some of the Bitcoin ETFs don't approve XRP and Ripple into their ETFs. And again, this is very possible. So if you're not comfortable, you can't stomach going from 311 and having that cut in half to 137, then, maybe just reconsider diversifying your portfolio. But if you're in it for the long term, if that happens and you believe in the technology like I do, you got to add more at that point, because then you're set up for the long term. If this technology is adopted, it's tough to even throw numbers out there, but $33 in the next year or two, if everything goes our way, seems very possible. That would bring it up to a market cap of about $2 or $3 trillion. So it's a 10x from here, and you're at about a $200 billion market cap, right? So it'd be between $2 and $3 trillion. So pay close attention to it. All right, that's where Bitcoin's sitting at right now. My opinion, XRP has so much use case, right? It's compliant. It can actually be used in the real world. It's not draining energy. There's no mining of it. Another risk factor that you have to pay attention to is we don't know if Ripple can create more coins out of thin air. Are they capping the limit? There's a burn rate. There's a lot of factors in here, and that's why there is a lot of risk associated as well. So we need some more clarity. We need some regulations. We need some laws. Hopefully those laws will prevent Ripple from adding coins, diluting, so on and so forth. It'll be written in its guidance, and if they go against the guidance, then the company would face lawsuits. So the next run-up is going to be when we get clear regulation. All right, clear regulation, and if the case from the SEC is dropped. So pay attention for those two data points. There's a lot of folks on X, formerly known as Twitter, that you can follow if you're really plugged in and you want the updates. I have those set. So pay close attention to the space. If you're in it right now, you're in a good spot. If you go down, right, if the price goes down, like I said, consider DCAing. That's what I'm doing. And then loading the boat at key resistance areas that you can see just by a simple Google search XRP chart. So thanks for joining in. Please punch that like button at the bottom there. Hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel. I'll be providing weekly updates, sometimes even bi-weekly updates, right? Good luck to all of you. I hope you make a couple bucks. Thanks for joining in. And check out the next video that'll be posted here shortly about my reaction to a Michael Saylor interview, and I'll provide some counterpoints to the Bitcoin bull thesis.